Continuing on the topic of domestic violence, yesterday you looked at some documents that directly related to Juana, also of indigenous women of the era and the importance of storytelling, and that this was an important story for her to tell and have recorded. So we know that this was a long struggle for her, and Erna had a good question for Miroslava yesterday about what were women's daily coping strategies. We can only kind of make educated guesses, right, about how they might have coped from the information that we have. And, you know, one thing that we've talked about is that perhaps for Juana, most likely for Juana, her healing practices and helping others was a part of her coping, because it was quite a few years, right, of struggle with her abusive husband. So with that introduction, we are connecting this topic to today, and we have Ruth Patrick here from Women's Silicon Valley, the Executive Director of Women's Silicon Valley. Her educational background includes a master's in English literature, a teaching credential, and state certification in domestic violence advocacy. She worked at Stanford's Center for Research in Disease Prevention and developed a research model that she later used to create her own nonprofit in 2009. Its goal was to help survivors navigate the risks and challenges of being trapped in a relationship with an affluent abuser. So this is an issue that crosses class lines, for sure, culture and class. She also wanted to raise awareness in the community and amongst providers about the impact of domestic violence in middle to upper income areas. Right? And I think we could talk more about, you know, why that was an important focus, and what are some assumptions about, you know, what communities have this as an issue or a pattern. Incubated by the Los Altos Community Foundation, nurtured by Domestic Violence Intervention Collaborative, supported by Los Altos City Council, Los Altos Town Crier, local law enforcement, service organizations and businesses, as well as generous individuals, WomenSV has served 1,200 women and 8 men over the past 7 years and has gained national recognition. WomenSV's professional trainings include the Association of Threat Assessment Professionals International Conference, Santa Clara County's Domestic Violence Council's annual Domestic Violence Conference, Santa Clara County Superior Court, Santa Clara County Bar Association, Santa Clara County District Attorney's Office, and the Santa Clara County Psychological Association. So, you know, one thing that comes in, it takes a village to address some of these social issues, right? The work of WomenSV has been featured in an investigation discovery documentary, Behind Closed Doors, Shocking Secrets, the Megyn Kelly Today Show, New York Times, and Good Morning America. Ruth is also a recipient of this year's Jefferson Award for Public Service from CBS affiliate KPIX. Her mission and the mission of WomenSV continue to be to promote the fundamental human right of every woman and child to live in peace and safety in their own home.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Thanks so much, Kalita, for that introduction. Thanks for inviting me. And I love the fact that you're talking about Juana Briones. And we don't want to just think about, oh, domestic violence happened long ago. Domestic violence happens in certain neighborhoods. Domestic violence has happened ever since men and women have been living together. So it's been an issue that's followed us throughout history, and it continues to this day. So I want to spend some time just talking to you today a little bit about what I do, and then what it looks like today, especially in our community. You all are going to good schools, and it's an issue that affects everybody everywhere. So please don't think just because you're going to a good school, going to a good college, you're going to get a good career, that you're safe. I don't want you to end up in my support group one day. And one day I want to have a support group for men, too, because it happens to men as well. So please don't feel I'm just talking to the ladies in the audience today. I'm talking to you, too. I've worked with 8 men. I would have worked with more if they felt more comfortable reaching out. Because when you are a victim of domestic violence, it strikes at the very core of your identity, who you are. You're all good students, you're motivated. You could be out surfing today. Look, you are here. Wow, that's awesome. Thanks for coming. but you're motivated, you're smart, you're strong, you're good people, you've got ambition. I bet all of you here want to do something important with your life. And what part of domestic violence fits any of that? It's like, you're a success. You're already a success because you're here. You don't want to think that there's a part of your life that's not working. And that's what happens to my ladies. My ladies are doctors, lawyers, engineers, CEOs of their own company. Their partners are doctors, lawyers, engineers, CEOs of their own company. And they're abusers. So anybody can be a victim and anybody can be a perpetrator. Just if you want to look at some more of the work I've done, I was on Megyn Kelly, as Perlita was mentioning a little while ago, in the New York Times and on Good Morning America a couple of weeks ago. And this Wednesday, if you tune in to Channel 5, KPIX, at 6:50, hopefully, theoretically, they'll be talking about the Jefferson Award, and they'll be interviewing me, a couple of my ladies, and our support group to give you a better idea of what we do. So, Sheryl Sandberg. Anybody know Sheryl Sandberg? She's pretty amazing, huh? Do you all know her? Over at Facebook? Run and seek. No, she's running Facebook. Pretty amazing woman. Entrepreneur. Very successful. She's worth a few $1 billion. Before Sheryl Sandberg, there was Juana Briones. And you all have learned a little bit about Juana, right? What have you learned about her in terms of her success in life?
She was an entrepreneur in this area because she kind of started a business because when sailors came in, her house would be the first one they'd go to.
No kidding. And if they were sailors on board a ship and the sailors were being abused, she'd give them safe housing. She had a safe house back in those days. She was amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else that people know about her in terms of all the good work she did? Or how successful she was? Yeah.
She's a healer, so
Yeah.
she's like the doctor of her area.
Yeah. How amazing was that? So here she is getting beaten by her husband and she's a healer. Wow. Pretty amazing. But look at all those things she was. Property owner. And then, yeah, one more thing, domestic violence survivor. And she left her husband back in the days when it was not cool to leave your husband. It was very hard to leave your husband. She left him. And often women ended up homeless. Do you know that more than over 50% of women who are homeless today are homeless as a result of domestic violence? So she left her husband and she became a successful entrepreneur, a property owner, a healer, giving sailors safe harbor. Like, what an amazing person. This is just, I'm really impressed with her. And in spite of having a husband who was an alcoholic and who beat her. And I just want to say that you can be an alcoholic and not be abusive. And you can be an abuser and not an alcoholic. They're two separate issues. But it's a very hard way to live your life and still accomplish everything that she did. But look at that as a story of hope. So she managed to take a situation that she was living in back then with a partner who was treating her cruelly, being controlling and abusive and drunk. And she left him and she went on to do wonderful things with her life. So I hope that's a story of hope for all of you, no matter what background you come from. I mean, we all have stuff going on in our lives, right? But we don't let that stuff define us. We let that stuff inspire us. So let's know that knowledge is power, right? The more we know, the better we can protect ourselves. So let's get to the bad stuff, and then we'll get to the good stuff. Did you know that the World Health Organization, WHO, right? World Health Organization, they did this study, and they found that 1 in 3 women on our planet will be beaten or raped during her lifetime. We all know more than 3 women, right? If you're a guy, or 2 women if you're a girl. If it's not you, it's happened to somebody. It will happen to someone you know. It's an epidemic. It's a public health crisis. Most people know now that 1 in 5 women will be a victim of assault when they go through their college years. 1 in 5. But not everybody knows that 1 in 5 young women will be a victim of intimate partner violence, being hurt by her boyfriend during her college years. So these are the days to prepare. I don't want you to go and think, oh my God, I'm not going to college because horrible things are going to happen. It's like life is a great big ocean, and we know where to swim in it, and we know how to look for sharks, and we wear our little, flippers if we need to. But if you can prepare yourself and know that there are dangerous waters, know where to swim, and know how to recognize sharks, you can be a whole lot safer. So that's what we're going to try to do today. Most victims of domestic violence are female. So when I talk about a perpetrator, I'm going to say he. And when I talk about a victim or a survivor, I'm going to say sheep. I don't want you to think because you're a guy, oh, male bashing is going on here. Not at all. Just because statistically, the statistics we have point in that direction. But it's because it's hard for men to reach out to get the help they need. There are many men who are suffering in domestic violence relationships, either with a same-sex partner or from a female. I get about 1 or 2 a year. I'm working with a man now. He's a wonderful man. He's got a good heart. He's sweet. He minimizes what his wife does. She has given him a concussion. She has bitten him. She has kicked him. She undermines his relationship with his children in front of the kids. It's very abusive. And he's trying to forgive her. He says, you know, I'm the kind of guy that waters dead plants. He's an engineer, and he applies the engineering mind to this problem because he's fixed everything else, and he's a very successful person. So, my God, I'm going to fix this problem. But it's not his problem to fix, it's hers. So that's a really important point to take away today, is you don't ever cause somebody to be abusive towards you. It's not your fault. If somebody has ever been abusive towards you, it's not your fault. It's on them. Oh, okay, let's go on. Okay. Okay, 1 and 3. In your middle school, high school days, 1 in 3 of you are going to be in a lousy relationship where you're going to be hurt. That's a lot. That's a lot of people. So I'm so glad you're here today. I'm so glad. Because I'm going to help, I hope, keep you safe. We talked about this. Anybody can be a victim. Guys are less willing to seek help than girls. So please, you know, if you can find a coach or a teacher, somebody to talk to. Because there's this whole machismo thing that goes on in our culture. You know, guys don't cry, and you don't want to reveal, you know, being hurt, those soft feelings because you're being a, you know what. I wish that men could be more like women, and women could be more like men. If we could just all be, you know, it's okay for women to be strong and tough, and it's okay for men to be soft and sweet. So I think you're the next generation. You look at Parkland, the shooting. Did you all talk about that a lot at school? You guys are the ones that are going to change the world right now. My gosh, sometimes I give up on adults, I really. But you guys, you're the hope. Okay, knowledge is power. The good news. Well, this is a little more bad news, but then we'll get to the good news. Okay, so just know anybody can be a victim of domestic violence. I just worked with an OBGYN helping her escape from her abuser. She's gone into hiding, and she's hired a bodyguard because he has threatened to kill her, and she knows he will because he has strangled her. When you strangle someone, they don't always end up dead, but they can die for weeks, months, a long time afterwards from the swelling that goes on. Sometimes it doesn't even leave marks. If you're in a relationship and anybody puts their hands on your neck and squeezes, that's deadly. They're saying to you, I've got the power of life and death over you, and I'm going to exercise it one day if you don't toe the line, do everything I tell you to do. That's the ultimate form of control. She's a physician, but she didn't know about the impact of strangulation. We got to do more work, educate people more about the danger of this. So these are my clients: engineers, doctors, professors, lawyers, psychologists, entrepreneurs, CEOs, religious leaders, stay-at-home parents, celebrities. I've had people in every one of these categories. They're partners, engineers, doctors, professors, lawyers, psychologists. They get inside your head and they play with your mind and they make you think you're going crazy. Most psychologists are in it to be healers. There are some that are in it to manipulate other people. Entrepreneurs, CEOs, religious leaders. Most religious leaders are about faith and forgiveness and kindness. There are some that use that power over other people and turn the holy text into a weapon. And stay-at-home parents. So, and it's important to realize, I have so many ladies, these are adults who are coming to me, they said, I didn't know it was abuse, he didn't beat me, I didn't have any bruises or broken bones to show for it. He got inside her head and made her feel like life wasn't worth living, she wasn't worth saving, that she was useless, stupid, dumb. This is somebody running her own company. You don't have to touch somebody to kill them. You can do it slowly over time. You ever heard that expression, death by 1,000 cuts? Chip, 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 chip. Any behaviors that intimidate, manipulate, humiliate, isolate, frighten, terrorize, coerce, threaten, blame. See, I didn't have to touch her. I didn't have to touch him to do any of those things. So realize, please, it's so much more than just physical or sexual violence. Oh gosh, I wish you could see this. This is the teen power and control wheel. You can go online and take a look at it. Sorry, it didn't come out very clearly here. But these are all the different ways that you can hurt somebody. Emotional abuse, putting her down, shaming her. Social status, turning her into a servant, ordering her around, controlling her, intimidating her. I don't have to, if I wanna, I don't think I can frighten you. You look pretty tough. But just pretend I can for a minute. So pretend there's a wall here. I don't have to punch you directly, right? I can punch the wall beside you. And what's the message there? First the wall, and then if you don't watch, then you're next. See, I don't have to touch you to control you. Isolating her. Oh, I don't like it when you hang out with that stupid girl, or you're always spending time with your family. You've got no time for me. Forcing her to have sex when she doesn't want to, making her feel bad if she doesn't do it, threatening her, saying, oh, if you leave me, I'll kill myself. I had a psychologist who said, he had a client dealing with that issue, and he said, here's something you could say. I'm not saying this, but I'm just reporting to you what a forensic psychologist told me that you could say. He said, if somebody threatens to kill themselves if you leave them, you know what you can say? If you kill yourself, I'm going to be messed up for about a year, but honey, you're going to be dead forever. Okay. Warning signs of abuse. Can you read that? Can we take, can you read that in the back row? What's your name?
Victor.
Sorry?
Victor?
Victor. Okay, can you read it back there?
Yeah.
Can everybody read it back there? Okay, can we take everybody in the back row and just go boom, 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 boom. Each person read one, starting with, what's your name?
Abril.
Sorry?
Abril.
Abril? Beautiful. Okay, can you start and just go that way, and then we'll do zigzag down until we, okay, just everybody nice and loud so we can hear it. Warning signs of abuse, things to watch out for.
Does abuser look at you in ways that scare you?
Next.
Act jealous or possessive.
Sorry, yeah, tickle.
Put you down or criticize you in public or online.
Try to control you where you go and what you wear or what you do.
Text you excessively.
Okay, let's stop there for a moment. And don't forget where we are in the row. So put you down or criticize you in public or online, making fun of you, jokes at your expense, try to control where you go. Want to go to a movie? Oh, I hate that movie. Let's go to this one. What? You're going to wear that? Ugh, that makes you look really fat. Why don't you try this? Text you excessively in the beginning, if they're texting you like 1,000,000 times a day. Oh, isn't that sweet? He loves me. Over time, it can look like stalking. Oh, he cares about me. He's worried about me. Maybe he's checking up on you. He just wants to know where you are every moment of the day. Okay, next.
Monitor your email.
Oh, look through your phone or personal belongings.
Okay. That's a red flag. Looking through your phone, you catch them, you catch her looking through your phone. That's bad. They don't trust you, they're suspicious, that's controlling, bad behavior. Okay, next.
Blame you for hurtful things they say or do.
Okay, take notice of this, because somebody hurts your feelings, and you say, it hurts my feelings when you, make fun of me when we're out with other people. What? I would never do that. What's the problem with you? Like, you're the one that makes fun of me. Like, you're the issue here. So and then if you don't watch out, you could end up apologizing to them for something they did. That's crazy making. Okay, next.
Threaten to hurt you or themselves if they leave.
That's where we go back to, oh, you'll be, dead forever. Okay, next one.
Try to stop you from being with friends or family. Try to guilt you or force you to have sex.
And that's not always rape, just jumping on you and forcing you to do it, but knowing that if you don't do it, you're going to suffer afterwards. So feeling pressured in any way to do something you don't want to do.
Do they hit, slap, or kick you?
Restrain you from walking away from an argument.
Yeah, and if I were a police officer, I'd call that false imprisonment. And if somebody is hurting you and you're trying to call 911 and they prevent you from calling 911, that's a felony. Yes, even one of these, thank you for reading, everybody. Yes, even one of these questions may indicate an abusive relationship. Financial abuse, when you go out, do you end up paying for everything? I mean, if he's working and you're not, and it's agreeable and you both feel okay about it, that's fine. But are you feeling pressured all the time? guilt tripping you? I bought you dinner, now it's time to have sex. I don't think so. Borrowing money, he at the pleasure of your company. Borrowing money and not returning it, buying you gifts so you'll feel indebted, that sort of guilting you into doing things. My boyfriend maxed out my credit card without me knowing. I'll be paying it off till I'm gray. How about this? Revenge porn. Do you recognize her over the top? Harry Potter. Sweet, Harry Potter. And they took her face and they put it on, a more revealing picture. So be careful about this. And when you're breaking up with somebody and they want to hurt you afterwards, one of the things they can do is try to humiliate you, embarrass you online, and stalking you online, spreading rumors about you, hacking into all your stuff. It can be deadly. Stalking is deadly, and hacking into things is a huge red flag. This is somebody who left her partner, who's working at McAfee. He hacked into her Facebook page. Here's her name, Rosalind Polycarpio, her Facebook page. Rosalind, I am cheating whore, Polycarpio. You think she wrote that? Hacked into her Facebook page. Watch out for people sending you text after text. Nobody goes to Mountain View High School. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes?
Mountain View High
Not today. I didn't see any hands go up because I was really trying to notice because my kids went there. My daughter had him, Evan Lewis. Do you all know about him? The teacher? The teacher at Mountain View High School, who was he was arrested and then charged and then found guilty of, somebody knows. What do you know about him? Anybody? Yeah. What's your name?
Nayeli?
Nayeli.
Yeah.
Beautiful names. Nayeli. Oh.
Yeah, I heard about it. I think our school was talking about it too, that he got arrested because he was texting this one girl, and he was a teacher and he got arrested.
That's right. Yes. Sexually inappropriate texting. When she had asked him to stop. So if somebody is doing that, you make it clear that you want that to stop, and if they don't stop, then that's when you start to, if you can, it's a good idea to keep evidence and then show it to somebody that you trust. And be very careful about what you share online, right? And please be careful about this. If you're going out with somebody, male or female, and your partner says, oh, come on, honey, I'm just thinking about you. Please send me a message because I'm missing you. And please be so careful about getting pressured into doing that. If you really love me, it's just, come on, show me that you trust me. Send me that picture. Oh, you're so gorgeous. And it's like midnight and you're tired and you send a picture. Please don't do that. Because if it doesn't work out, it's going to come back. It could come back to haunt you. And when things go out into the, out on the internet, they're there. Women have had a really hard time getting rid of that stuff. So this app, if you're in a relationship and you're starting to worry, oh gosh, am I in danger? There's an app that it's specifically designed for young people. It's a form of something called the danger assessment, and it's called My Plan. And I'll tell you now who developed it. The parents of a young college student who was you'll see a picture of her in a minute, who had the world at her feet, everything in front of her, and she ended up getting murdered by her boyfriend. And to make some kind of meaning out of what happened to her parents went on to develop this app to help keep other kids safe, to do what they could. Now, it catches the most extreme forms of danger, so just because you don't score very high on an app like this, please remember it's My Plan. You can go on, just go on iTunes or whatever, and then download it. But it catches the most extreme forms of danger, so watch out for other flags. What do you think of when you think of an abuser? Can you look at this gallery here? Oh, we're in a gallery. Look at this gallery. Who looks like the bad guy up here? I put a big red frame around this guy. Can you see? It's a little bit hard to see, but can you see what he's wearing? Everybody, what's he wearing? Can't really see.
Is that tank top?
Tank top. On the old days, when I was a youngster. Oh. When I was a youngster, we had electricity. In the old days, they called that a
Tank top.
Like in the
white beater. Thank you. Tank top and white beater. The guy, we imagine often a guy who's got a six-pack, he's watching the game, he just came home from the beer factory, had a few too many, and then he whacks a wife around. That's often the image we have of domestic violence. And that is such a stereotype that is not true at all. Because as we were talking about before, it can happen to anybody. Every single person up here is an abuser, every single one of them. And some of them committed the ultimate act of domestic violence. And you know what that ultimate act is?
Murder?
Thank you. Yes, I'm on the Domestic Violence Death Review team. You got it. You got it right. Yes, yes. Murder. Yes, you got it right. Yes, Domestic Violence Death Review team. I'm on that team. And I talk about the ultimate act of domestic violence, which is exactly right, murder. This guy, college student. You'll see the picture next of the young college student he killed. Oh, who's this guy? Chris Brown. Remember? Rihanna? Yeah, I just got charged again with some other kind of assault. Oh, look, he's got a puppy. See, he doesn't fit, right? Cute guy, successful singer, got a puppy, beat his girlfriend. This guy comes. This guy, this is George Hughley, I think 5th. Anytime you got an initial after your name, you know, like there's going to be trouble. Wealthy family. We will see more about him in a minute. You know, recognize this guy? Ray Rice. Football player. Ray. You didn't see that? You didn't see that YouTube video of him cold cocking his girlfriend in the elevator and knocking her unconscious? Okay. Jerbash Shalal grew up in San Jose, went to school there. He was a high school dropout, and like most high school dropouts in Silicon Valley, went on to create a company that he sold for $300 billion. Very successful on the Oprah Winfrey Show. He went undercover and donated $35,000 to a women's shelter. Bless you. Oh, one more thing. Domestic violence conviction, twice. Caught on video hitting and kicking his girlfriend. Hey, Pinky. Hi. Hi. Hi there.
How are you?
You want to come and join the...
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. My good friend Pinky.
No, we're going to go down and do a mailing.
Okay.
Thanks for the invite.
Sure. Caught on video hitting and kicking his girlfriend 117 times. They had to throw out the video, which was in his place because the police didn't get the right warrant to get it. Bob Bashara, back in Detroit, president of the Rotary Club. His wife was murdered by their handyman, and he was accused of it. And he said, "How could I kill my wife? I'm president of the Rotary Club." The jurors also called him a narcissist, a monster, psychopath. He paid his handyman to kill her. Recognize this guy?
No.
Oh, wait, of course you do. Look harder. Hey? Pardon? But there was a documentary. So OJ Simpson. Heisman Trophy award winner. So Nicole would be on the phone. She'd say, "OJ is beating me." The police would come, and then he'd bring out the Heisman Trophy. Okay. Yeah, OJ, the juice. Exactly. This guy, physician, Dr. Martin McNeil.
I know Tom Holland and Tom Michael. Tom Holland.
So Dr. McNeil. Okay, I've got a good story here. So Dr. McNeil would brag, saying that he knew how to kill somebody and make it look like they died from natural causes. Guess what he did to his wife? Yeah, ended up killing his wife and trying to make it look like she died of a heart attack. They later found out what he did, and he went off to prison and committed suicide in prison. This guy, Ed Dow, Los Altos, wealthy developer, he would beat his wife for putting highlights in her hair or buying a new dress. Still in Los Altos. Storybook kind of life from the outside, big house, lots of property, big cars, very wealthy. She was so afraid of him. She got a restraining order. She was afraid he was going to hurt her, afraid he was going to hurt the children to hurt her. Because sometimes abusers will hurt the kids in order to hurt the mom. He ended up hurting them in the worst himself. After she got the restraining order, the most dangerous time is after you leave an abuser. Because that's when they're losing control. Oh, remember this guy? George Hughley, what is he? Oh, the 6th now. Okay, George Hughley, the 6th. National champion lacrosse player. Yardley Love. Killed her. Her parents are the ones who created that My Plan with the Love Foundation. So what does a domestic violence victim look like? Everybody up here has been a domestic violence victim. So I'm the ultimate victim. There was a young man in the upper left-hand corner, a few slides back. I said he was a college student. Another college student killed his girlfriend over spilled noodles. It was a trivial fight. Carmen Dow, Ed Dow's wife from Los Altos, Miss America. Yardley Love. Leslie Morgan Steiner, Harvard grad, best-selling author. Wrote a book called Crazy Love. Domestic violence survivor. Oh, OJ's wife. She put a little note in her safety deposit box. If I die, this is what happened to me. Rihanna. Eliana Lopez. That was Sheriff Margarini's wife. So if you're in an abusive relationship, watch out, because it can have impact on you that lasts the rest of your life. You can get depressed, anxious, you can start self-medicating with different things like alcohol and smoking. You can even think about committing suicide, because that's the only way you can think of getting out. So if you can catch it early, you'll be in a much better position to do something about it. So what if you think you're in an abusive relationship? Please don't stay silent, because that's what your abuser wants. He wants to keep you alone and isolated. Tell somebody you trust. It could be a friend, a teacher. Early on, if you can set limits early on, it's going to keep you much safer. You can say things like, here's some words you can, sometimes we don't have the language to say what we want to get across. I like it when you're nice to me. I don't like it when you try to control me. I want you to treat me like an equal. If you don't, I can't be in this relationship. Okay, put the warning out there. And if they don't do it, time to leave. But you can't change your partner. He's responsible for his behavior. And be very careful breaking up with an abuser. Not safe. You know what's happened to a couple of the people we talked about. You want to do it they both were killed after leaving the relationship. High danger, so be very, very careful if you can do it in a public place or with a friend. Fear is one of the main reasons why people stay in an abusive relationship. They're afraid of what's going to happen after they leave. That's why safety planning is so important. I got a handout that's all about safety planning. And what if a friend of yours, this may not apply to you, maybe you're in loving relationships and I'm happy for you, but you might be starting to think, oh, there's somebody I know that I'm starting to get worried about. Maybe if you can just have a little conversation with her, be gentle, or him. Don't get frustrated with them. Don't blame them. If you blame them, shame them, they'll never talk about it again. You might lose them as a friend. You don't know all the things that are going on that are making it so hard for them to make a decision about whether to leave. And don't confront the abuser. You know, police officers hate going to DV calls, domestic violence calls. It's like the most dangerous call to go on. So don't confront the abuser. Here's some things that you can, if you're worried about a friend, here's some things you can say to your friend. I'm concerned for your safety. Well, maybe we can read them. Can we start with you? And you go down the line there.
I'm concerned for your safety. I'm concerned it'll only get worse.
You don't deserve to be treated this way. No one does.
It's not your fault.
Would you like me to share some resources with you?
And that's one of them is me. They can call me. What not to say. Can we keep going? The next.
Why don't you just break up?
There's two sides to every story.
What not to say, remember. Okay.
How do you think you're contributing to your partner's behavior?
And how are they contributing? Not at all, because it's not their fault. Okay.
But your partner seems so nice.
And remember that. They've got this Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing going on, right? There's like nice space in public. They could be in the coaching soccer. They could be playing this wonderful instrument. They could be really popular. They're very cool. And they have this really dark side that nobody but their partner knows about. Okay. Yeah.
Your partner seems to be doing their best to make up.
Yeah, like it all looks good on the surface, right? Then can we go back to, you
You should get a restraining order.
Okay, don't tell them what to do. You can say there's some options and let me connect you with some resources. Let them get other help to do that.
Do you really want to break up and be all alone?
Yeah, so that's where, like, sometimes being alone is the very best thing you can possibly do. Sometimes people think, oh, I gotta have a guy or I gotta have a girl in my life to be complete. If you can be complete in yourself, then when you invite other people into your life, they'll be worthy of you. So just a few words about what a healthy relationship looks like. You feel, let's start, back of the back row, can we carry on? You feel, go down here. Just go quick.
Respected. Respected.
Respected?
Love.
Like an equal?
Okay, shut it out now because I'm getting deaf.
Safe.
Sorry?
Safe.
Safe, okay. Your partner, what does he do?
Respects you and honors your boundaries.
Yes.
Listens to you.
Nice and loud, please, because we're competing with this
listens
hand.
to you.
Next
Listens
one?
to you.
Encourages, comforts, praises, supports you.
Good,
Is honest.
good,
Doesn't hold grudges.
good.
Good character.
Yes. So, shared power, shared values, equality. That's what you want to be thinking about. Okay? Not this. Next one, you feel.
Disrespected.
Yes. Let's go. Boom, boom, boom. Next one.
Oh. Ignored.
What?
Ignored.
Okay.
Inferior.
Yes.
Anxious or afraid.
Yeah.
Unsafe.
Okay. Your partner.
Tries to control you.
Yes.
Puts you down.
Yes. Okay, just, come along, everybody.
Oh, frightened.
Work with me here.
Disrespects you.
Okay.
Compares you to other people. Acts jealous, suspicious.
Checks up on you.
Pops up.
Pops up like stalking.
Lies.
Cheats on you. Hurts you.
Shames you.
Shames, blames you.
Abuses you.
Yes, and we know all the different ways we can do that. So relationships are about equality, not control. And even if things aren't so great at home, we can still learn from negative examples. We can say, oh, like maybe, you don't like the way your parents treat each other. You can learn from that and say, when I grow up, I'm going to do something, or when I'm an adult, I'm going to do something different. I can learn from that. I don't have to repeat it if I don't like it. We can do things differently. We can learn from other healthy adults. You got lots of other people in your life that you can learn from. Teachers, coaches, mentors. So we can learn what healthy love looks like. And above all, please, I want to leave you with this. Abuse is, can we just say it all? Everybody all together, can we just say it? Abuse is never your fault. You never deserve it. Okay, next one. You deserve to be treated with respect, always. You deserve to be loved. Love shouldn't hurt. You don't have to stay in an abusive relationship. It's very hard to leave an abuser without support from friends, family, and other resources. There are lots of resources that can help. There is hope out there. If Juana Briones did it, you can too. All right, that's the media stuff if you want to go check out some more stuff out online. Thank you very much, everybody. You started. Oh, any questions? Anybody got any questions, comments? Yes?
How does domestic abuse affect their children if they're together?
Oh my gosh, what's your name?
Karina?
Karina? Karina just asked the most important question of the day. How does domestic violence affect the children? If you can look it up online, maybe you can do a project at school on this called the ACES study, ACES, Adverse Childhood Experiences Study. It was done by Kaiser and the Center for Disease Control. Domestic violence starts affecting, when it starts affecting children? In the womb. You get the adrenaline, the rush, coursing through an unborn baby's veins. They come out highly stressed. Over time, as children, they can start to show signs of ADD, ADHD. It's a behavioral diagnosis. Sometimes it's the way your brain is wired, and sometimes you're thinking about the crap that's going on at home. Sometimes it'll show up in ways kids are expressing themselves out on the playground, later on, maybe getting into bullying behavior or being very shy, withdrawn. As you get into the teenage years, thinking about things like self-medicating with drugs, alcohol, early sexual behavior, looking for love in all the wrong places, eating disorders, smoking, any way to kill the pain in the moment, anxiety, depression, then learning from mom and dad how you treat one another. Sometimes you can see bullies out on the playground. Sometimes they're just falling in with the wrong crowd. Sometimes they're modeling what happened at home. Middle school, high school, getting into teen dating violence relationships as a victim or a perpetrator. And then as you grow up, getting into domestic violence relationships. And it can cause physical health issues. And ladies in my support group have everything from migraines to cancer, because everything's got some kind of emotional component to it. And when you're fighting stress from the outside, it takes a huge toll on your immune system. So starting from the very early days, domestic violence has an impact on you throughout your whole life and carried forward long enough it becomes elder abuse. It's something that stays with you if it's not addressed, so please get help. Yes, Perlita.
The women you've worked with, does that tend to be the pattern that they had traumatic childhoods or had examples?
Oh, another fabulous question. Okay, so I say there's two types of people that can become vulnerable to domestic violence relationships. Those that grow up in unhealthy homes and that it just feels like this feels like familiar to me. But also those who grew up in healthy homes where mom and dad treated each other very well with lots of respect and kindness and love, and they had no idea what was happening to them. Because he started off so nice in the beginning, charming, funny, she could talk to him about anything, and then over time, little by little, it started to happen, and she had no idea. She didn't have the language that you now have to put around it. That's emotional abuse. That's financial abuse. You're pressuring me to have sex. I don't want to do that. You're making fun of me in front of other people. I don't like that. So it's something that happens no matter where you are, no matter how old you are, and it happens no matter what kind of background you grew up in. Anybody can be vulnerable to it. That's why we talk about swimming in the ocean. Everybody, if you go to Hawaii, look for the beaches that don't have a riptide, and if you see a shark coming along, get out of the water. Okay, anybody else? Yes.
How about recovering from trauma?
How about recovering from trauma? That's another beautiful question. Mike, oh my gosh, you guys ask fabulous questions. It's possible, because the bad news is that domestic violence has an incredible impact on you that can end up with enough categories of trauma, including domestic violence, or if your dad's been put in prison, or there's mental health issues in the family. With enough categories of trauma, it can take up to 20 years off your life. So recovering from it is possible because the brain is resilient. We talk about the neuroplasticity of the brain. You'll probably learn all about that. So that's the good news, that with there's something called EMDR. If you're walking around shell-shocked, one of the impacts of domestic violence is post-traumatic stress disorder. That's what war veterans suffered from. That's what prisoners and hostages suffered from. That's what survivors of domestic violence suffered from. PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Well, there's a way to deal with that, and it's called EMDR. You've got PTSD, you can go get some help with EMDR. And it's eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. And you can go to a therapist that can help you reduce the emotion around those trauma triggers. Because when you have PTSD, anything, danger can come from anywhere. You could be sitting around the dinner table and you just say, hey, I got an A- on my my last math test. And all of a sudden that sets dad off. Oh my God, an A-, you're on the fence there, kid. Watch out, next you'll be failing, next you'll get a B. And then you just were trying to have a conversation, and now all of a sudden, when you get your report card, I got a B. So that report card becomes a source of trauma for you. And that's where EMDR can help you with that, to take the trauma triggers and reduce the emotion that comes with them. Yeah?
Why, if it's EMDR, why is it processing?
Oh, it's reprocessing. So you want to take that crappy event that happened and you want to put new associations with it, tell yourself a different story, have it turn out a different way, and through this therapeutic technique, it can help heal the sources of the trauma. Yeah. Anybody else got any questions? Yes?
How does the abuse affect the person's or victim's ability to engage into another relationship with someone else?
Oh my gosh, you guys are fabulous. Are you recording these questions? This is another whole talk. Okay, so how does it affect their ability to get into another relationship? Anybody have any thoughts about that? How would it affect you if you've been once bitten about getting into another relationship? Yeah.
Sometimes if you're a victim, you can, it draws other abusers because there's something about you. And
yeah, like a shark in the water, they smell blood, right? I know that you don't have boundaries. You weren't allowed to have boundaries in your previous relationship, so I know I can control you. You can send out that vibe. That's true. It can make it hard for you to trust people because your trust has been betrayed on such a deep level. It can make you hard. So I have ladies. The ladies that I work with they're wonderful. They're strong. They're brave. They're courageous. Some of them go through this phase where they get this hard shell. They're hard ass. And some of the guys too that have been through it, some of the young boys that I've talked to and the teenagers who witnessed domestic violence in their home, they become like, it's like a turtle shell. And they're not going to let anybody in because they've been hurt and they have to defend themselves. And with the women that I've seen, it's like, I want to attack first so before I get attacked. So they're sharp, they're bitchy. Because they've learned that you've got to be tough in order to survive. But be careful going down that road. I say keep the image of a rose in your mind, a rose. Be the rose with the soft, sweet petals. For men, you too, be a rose. Be soft, be sweet, be gentle with your women. Like, treat them, like, cherish them. Lift them up. When you're out with other people, say, I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I just found, the love of my life. Or just say something nice about her when you're out with other people. Lift her up. And ladies, lift your men up when you're out. Oh, I'm so, like, look at how, he's on the, football team, or like he's really funny, or he just listens to all my crazy stories. Like, say something nice when you're out with other people to lift each other up. And so be the rose with those soft petals and that delicate aroma, but don't forget your thorns when you need them. But just know who to have the thorns with. Anybody else? Yes?
I'm thinking your organization is in touch with any organizations through health clinics or anything that are trying to also provide some kind of counseling for abusers, or where and how do abusers...
Another fabulous question. Okay, so can abusers change? I think is kind of like a question underlying that. So there is a small percentage of people who abuse, who've learned this pattern of behaving in the world and the way you get to treat women and other people with less power than you have. There's a certain percentage of people that can change and can, if they have empathy, if they have remorse, if they can do self-reflection, if they can admit that their role in it, which is 100% if you're being abusive, if they can be honest with themselves and whoever's talking with them and trying to help them. But unfortunately, the ladies that I work with, because they're adults and their partners have been practicing this behavior for so many years, it's pretty much who they are. And unfortunately, often some of these characteristics tend to get rewarded in Silicon Valley. We have the war mentality out here. You know The Art of War? You know that book, The Art of War? Yeah, yeah. Sun Tzu, yeah. Used to be in the history section. You know what section it is in now? Thank you. The business section, The Art of War, kill or be killed. It's a jungle out there. Crush the competition. Win, win, win. Don't reveal any weakness, because it'll be attacked. You attack first before you're attacked. And that's the sort of mentality that often gets taken home. And it's like, they're running the home like they're, like they're still at work. It's hard to take that cloak off and become that other person at home that's vulnerable and sharing power. So if you're able to, if a batterer says, I don't want to be like this anymore, I'm hurting my family, I'm hurting myself, I want to change, and I want to be honest about what I've done and who I've hurt, I want to do better, I want to be better, there's hope. Unfortunately, with the folks that I work with, most people that are professionals are good people. I'm talking about that small percentage, way far out in the end of the bell curve, the little tiny percentage I deal with of abusers that are hardcore abusers, and they have this attitude towards women and people with less power than they have. They think they have to step on other people in order to get higher, and you're not going to change that. I do work with, like I've given talks at CHAC and other folks about helping to, so I work with the survivors. Yes, Darlene.
Related to that, the relationship to like mental disorders like narcissism you mentioned, or borderline.
Oh gosh, okay, I love your questions. Okay, okay. So I'm not a therapist. I'm a domestic violence advocate and a teacher by training, as Perlita mentioned. But I teach therapists, and the Santa Clara County Psychological Association gave me an award for community service. And in the audience, psychologists, MFTs, marriage and family therapists, social workers. So I say, I'm not qualified to give diagnoses, but you are. Like, you all pretend. Okay, I want you to put your therapist hats on now. Just pretend. You are an audience of psychologists, psychiatrists, therapists and MFTs. Okay. I'm going to give you a list of characteristics of the abusers that, as reported by the ladies I work with, and you tell me what diagnostic label would you put on them, okay? Therapists, are you ready? Okay. Present very well in public, look good on paper, they contribute to worthy causes, could coach the soccer team, very successful, charming, very charming, good salesman, lie easily, lie often, calculating, manipulative, like to be the center of attention, huge sense of entitlement. It's all about them. Very good at blaming others, not good at taking responsibility for their own bad behavior, good at playing the victim. They lack empathy. They lack remorse. They lack self-reflection. It's all about blaming others. They sprinkle truth into their lies to make the lies more believable. No conscience, it appears. They almost often seem to enjoy causing pain to the very people they should be protecting the most. Therapists, what diagnostic labels would you put on this type of person?
That superiority complex.
Sorry, superiority complex, thank you.
Kind of a sociopath.
Thank you, bingo, yes. Anybody else? Carlina, what did you say?
I was going to say narcissism.
Yes, bingo again. That's what I get over and over again from the therapists that I teach. Narcissist, psychopath, sociopath, borderline. So these are personality disorders. It's who they are. And therapists hate dealing with this sort of patient because it's a character issue. It's not like usually when you go to a therapist, you're suffering from anxiety, depression, or self-esteem issues, and you want help with that. You say, doctor, I'm hurting and my life isn't working. Can you help me? And then you go and you get help because you're doing self-reflection and you want to change. This type of abuser I'm talking about, this specific type of abuser I'm talking about, he likes the status quo. He says jump and people say how high. He wants to be the center of attention. He wants to keep his power. It's about power and control. So, where's the incentive to change with that?
Do they even go to therapists?
So, okay, here's another thing you got to be careful about. Yes, couples counseling or going to a therapist. So if you are an abuser and you're going to a therapist, you're going to validate your reality. Oh, she's the problem. She's lazy. She's stupid. She interferes with me. So, and the therapist is taught to take people as they present. Okay? And so he drags you to couples counseling because he's been telling her, you're stupid, you're lazy, you're crazy. And he takes her to a couples counselor. Do we have time for a quick story? Yeah, okay, all right. So, do you know about OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder? Okay, so this lady tells her husband that she wants to leave him because she's tired of him beating her and raping her. So what he does, the gardener comes one day and he's spraying pesticide on the weeds. She's very not deathly allergic, but it makes it very hard for her to breathe, and she breaks out in a rash. And so he sprays it. Her husband takes the pesticide and sprays it on her clothes, in the washer, on the carpet, all around the house. And he's telling her that she's going crazy, and there's a lot of money involved. And if she's crazy and not able to look after the money, who's going to be looking after the money? He is, right? Follow the money, you often follow the motivation. She's trying to leave him. They've got money. He's telling her she's going crazy. He sprays pesticide all over the house. She doesn't know that, of course, but she just can't breathe and she's got a rash, and so she's on her hands and knees trying to clean every corner of the house, running things through the washing machine. Doesn't work. Why? He sprayed pesticide in the washing machine. Cleaning. He starts taking his video camera, videoing her, and takes her to the therapist. Couples counseling, because he wants to work on the relationship. Why does he want to work on the relationship? You always have to look for the ulterior motive. It's never tell it like it is with this type of abuser. It's, I'm going to say one thing, I'm going to do another, I've got another motive going on. He takes her to the therapist. Why? He's been telling the whole family that she's crazy, that she's not capable of looking after any of the finances. He's got to take over everything. He takes her to, and then he takes out pictures that shows, look, here she is cleaning 24 hours a day. She's got major OCD and it's impacting every aspect of our lives. I can't take it. She's nuts. So he set her up to, and the therapist goes, yeah, it kind of looks crazy to me. So always and often there's an ulterior motive when you're dealing with somebody that even they can turn. If you are an abuser, anything in the hands of an abuser can become a weapon, even therapy. I had another lady whose husband was a psychologist, and when she called 911 because he was running around the house with a knife threatening to kill her, he got to the police out in the driveway before she did. And he said to them, "Thank God you're here. My wife's having another one of her psychotic meltdowns. I'm a therapist, I'm a psychologist. Please help me to help her. I do believe she needs to be on a psychiatric hold for her safety and for mine." The police come in, they see her like this. Why? Because she's been up all night and he's been threatening her with a knife. She's like this all over the place. Her hands get slapped in restraints. She gets hauled off to Valley Med. And he comes to visit her there. Well, this is the same woman that wanted to leave her husband because of the abuse. He comes to visit her. And she says to him, "Why did you do that?" And you know what he says? "Because I can." That's an abuser. They take their credentials, they take their profession, and they use them to control other people. Oh, technology. Don't get me started about technology. Use of technology to drive people crazy. Hidden cameras and smoke detectors. That's another talk for another time. Thank you, everybody. You've been wonderful. Thank you.